all in. All in. We're all in.
I don't have a sense of urgency about getting it done.
You guys get paid pretty well to write headlines and to do your job, and respectively so, but I can't allow that to affect how I get paid in my job. You don't get paid well? A couple of y'all need to start holding out too then.
It's been very tough to be a Cowboy fan, but have you ever stopped to consider how difficult it might be to be a YouTuber that covers the NFL that happens to be a Cowboy fan? I'm running out of titles here. I mean, I've used the Dallas Cowboys are in big trouble. The Dallas Cowboys continue to embarrass themselves. The Dallas Cowboys implosion has begun. At a specific point, how many times can I say that the Dallas Cowboys are dumb? There's only so many ways I could really say this one phrase. And the crazy thing is every single time they just keep upping the ante. They do something dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber to the point where fans aren't even attending training camp anymore. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get to the
I mean, because it's the same stuff that we've been seeing past, come on, bro, since the Romo era, bro. It's a lot of empty promises. It's a lot of good rosters. You know what I mean? It's not like you guys can't hit on the draft. I feel like sometimes you guys can't miss. You know, to get CeeDee, to get Micah, to get Diggs, even Dak, you got what in the 4th round, I believe. Like Dallas knows how to draft these star players. So I couldn't even blame the fan base, bro. What's there to be excited this year? You know what I mean? Barely any new acquisitions. Y'all didn't re-sign Stephon Gilmore. Dak isn't paid. CeeDee Lamb is holding out, not paid. So it's like, why are we not paying our stars, bro? It is what it is. The market requires you to pay Dak $50 million. Jerry Jones has been putting his foot in his mouth this entire time. You know what I mean? And like this shrewd business operator, I feel like his ego's crushed because Dak has been getting the betterment of his pockets. And now you're going to have to pay Dak. Who's the last quarterback to get signed? Whoever the last quarterback that just got signed a major deal. Oh, Jordan Love. Dak is going to get more money than Jordan Love. So it's just going to keep going up, bro.
Content. We are on the grind to 1 million subscribers.
I don't blame the fans for not pulling up.
Twin brother Flight Mike to 1 million subscribers. And we're giving away copies of Madden. Going on, everybody? I don't remember the last time I was not disappointed as a Dallas Cowboy fan, but if I could remember, I would like to put my money on the fact that it probably was during the regular season. Most likely towards the beginning of the regular season, because that's how the Dallas Cowboys cycle starts. But during this past offseason, we saw a masterclass in Dallas Cowboys ineptitude. I mean, as a matter of fact, this ineptitude began from the moment the Dallas Cowboys played their wild card game, and they just never stopped from that moment on, except for like 2 or 3 times. And I'll get to that in just a sec. The Cowboys were humiliated by the Green Bay Packers.
Boy, I got smoked.
The first 7th seed in NFL history to advance in the playoffs. Now let's take an objective look at the Dallas Cowboys offseason, and let's try not to be too harsh. After all, this is my favorite team, so how hard am I really gonna go on the Cowboys? In reality, the Cowboys had a very challenging offseason. Not only did they have big expiring contracts coming up in the form of Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and next year Micah Parsons, but they had several holes that needed addressing. Tony Pollard left in free agency. Tyron Smith, their blindside anchor for the past 14 years, left for the New York Jets. Their starting center left for the Washington Commanders. Their defensive coordinator left for the Washington Commanders. Dorrance Armstrong also followed Dan Quinn to the Washington Commanders. Stephon Gilmore became a free agent. So it was going to be very challenging to try to rebuild a team that got embarrassed on national TV in the playoffs, but was good enough to get the 2nd seed in the NFC prior to that. And to be honest, when you compare the Cowboys to the rest of the NFC East, they probably have the least momentum out of any team, except maybe the New York Giants. But even in the case of the New York Giants, they've made some exciting moves. I mean, Malik Neighbors is dominating in training camp, so you could definitely make a very strong argument that the Cowboys had the least exciting offseason out of any team in the NFC East. Such is life when you have severe salary cap restrictions as a result as your quarterback's backloaded contract. So with that, even the Cowboys made lemonade, signing Eric Kendricks to a 1-year prove-it deal, but they found a stud at the left tackle position, drafting Tyler Guyton in the 1st round of the NFL draft. And to be honest, from that point on, the Dallas Cowboys mismanaged everything. And look, I'm not trying to say that their 2nd to 6th round pick was bad, because for all you know, they could be solid players, but as of right now on paper, the rest of the Cowboys offseason was a disaster. It all started when Jerry Jones said this.
How do we feel about where we've been in this free agency? We feel great about what we've been in free agency. All in. All in. All in. We're all in with these young guys coming up. And we're all in with this draft, and we're all in with knowing that you have to go.
And boy, Jerry Jones really did the opposite of going all in. I mean, I have never seen such an inept allocation of the salary cap in my entire life. Jerry likes to do this thing where he waits till the last possible second in order to extend contracts of his star players, and I really don't know why he does this. I mean, there's not a feasible explanation as to why you should wait till the very last minute, like you're some kid in school trying to avoid the school project and procrastinate last minute. I mean, what the hell is Jerry Jones doing other than trying to get these deals done as soon as possible? I mean, at the time that we're making this video, Brandon Ayuk still has not been traded and still hasn't agreed to a contract extension. And his storyline is even more bizarre than CeeDee Lamb's. But we'll get to CeeDee Lamb in a second.
Like CeeDee Lamb got no drama going on, and that's the thing I feel like is really discouraging a lot of Cowboy fans. It's the fact that we actually have a wide receiver who's not running to social media, who's not throwing subs, who's not making skits, who's not, like, you know what I mean, who's not doing the most because he wants to get paid. CeeDee Lamb has been consistent, and most importantly, he's been quiet. So it makes it even more weird that Jerry Jones hasn't just flat out paid one of the best receivers on and off the field.
Was, why isn't Jerry Jones paying any of his players? He had an opportunity to do so all off season long, not only in the case of CeeDee Lamb, but in the case of Dak Prescott as well. Look, I know we always roast Dak Prescott for choking in the playoffs. Hell, I know I do it, and I'm a Cowboy fan. But you have to admit, when you act like the playoffs don't exist, which as a Cowboy fan I do fairly often, Dak Prescott is one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL. His completion percentage typically hovers around 68%. Throughout his career, he's completed 67% of his passes. He has nearly a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio for the entirety of his career. And when he's fully healthy, he typically goes for over 4,000 passing yards. And that's the truth. You can look throughout the rest of the NFL, but at the end of the day, Dak Prescott is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. And he was the runner-up to the NFL MVP last year. He was a second-team All-Pro. He threw for 36 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, over 4,500 passing yards, and 69.5% of his passes were completed. Now, based off of that alone, Dak deserves a contract.
Came in front. Makes you look at Dak a little differently, right? When they throw the numbers at you. Like, this is what I've been saying. This dude could have won MVP. He had that stretch, I think it was in like November, where it was just like Dak was just balling. I'm talking about 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, back-to-back games. It's like, damn, this dude was dying, bro. But again, in the playoffs, none of that shit matters.
Extension. But let's say you're one of those stubborn Cowboy fans that think,
oh my God, Dak is not even a top 20 QB. I'd rather have Trey Lance start over Dak.
But when you take a look at Dak Prescott's last contract, you'd realize that the Cowboys don't have a choice but to extend Dak Prescott, primarily because his cap hit is so egregious that even if Dak Prescott leaves, the Cowboys are going to incur at least $40.46 million against the 2025 salary cap. So with that being said, considering how Dak Prescott is at minimum a top 10 QB or a top 5 QB, depending on who you ask, plus the fact that there would be significant cap charges against the Cowboys if they don't sign him to an extension, you would think that the Cowboys would be as motivated as possible to get a contract extension done with Dak Prescott after one of his best regular seasons to date. But Jerry Jones not only didn't want to pay Dak Prescott a contract extension, he also refused to pay CeeDee Lamb a contract extension. Now, Dak has gone on the record multiple times saying that he doesn't fear playing for another team, but here's where it gets really interesting. When Jerry Jones was asked why he does this bullshit, his reaction was delusional.
Is that I feel like when you look at cap, you need to have a feel of where the revenue is going to be down the road. I feel like I know better than anybody living. I've got a feel for what the revenue is going to be 4, 5, 6 years from now than anybody living. I've spent all this time doing that, and I understand. And if you don't understand what the revenue is going to be, then you can't look ahead and see what the cap.
Listen, Jones, Jerry, I love you as much as any other. No, I don't. I really don't. But yo, I appreciate you, Jerry. But this is your classic. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Jerry Jones is a billionaire. And with most billionaires, there's like this ego of feeling like a genius because you've done the 1% things that people kind of strive for. They're like, you're one in what? What's the ratio to billionaires compared to the common folks, right? He's a part of that very small society of people, bro. And when you've accomplished what Jerry has accomplished, you develop this level of ego, this genius about you, where you feel like you always know what to do because you've been here before, you've seen things. And a part of being a genius is like being able to foresee certain things. And I feel like that's what Jerry's trying to explain to us in his own philosophical way, although it doesn't really make much sense. But this is classic case of, bro, you owe, Jerry. The times aren't the same. So rather than take your time to wait till the perfect timing, the times today are telling you you want to pay these guys early now so you don't have to pay them more than the next guy or the guy after that. Because what you're going to end up doing is you're going to, like Joe, Josh, Tua, Purdy's coming up. Golf just got paid. What you're going to do is you're going to end up having to pay Dak more money than quarterbacks that are actually probably better than him. You know what I mean? But again, with this genius mentality and this ability to feel like, yo, you can foresee everything, and this is all just a part of the master plan, even though it's kind of falling apart all around Dallas. You know what I mean? You guys went out in the first round to the 7th seed. If anything, I would have threw whatever philosophy I had right out the window, bro. But not Jerry, not the billionaires.
I've got a better feel, I think, than anybody, because I have a sense of what revenues might be for the whole league 4, 5, 6 years from now. And so that if you see me optimistic, then you must know that I think it's pretty good. If you see me a little cautious, you must know that I'm being cautious. I mean, I'm quick to be repeated. But I didn't add that the other day, but I'm the best at looking around corners. Now, I don't know what that is. But as far as body language and instincts, I'm better than anybody.
So yeah.
Well, he gives us more than Joe Biden.
Jerry Jones essentially said that the reason why he doesn't want to extend his players is because he realizes that this $4.7 billion Sunday ticket lawsuit against the NFL, which we made our own video on a while ago, is going to affect the salary cap of the entire NFL. And the Cowboys are going to be smart for not extending their players before the salary cap decreases for the very first time in NFL history. And here's the thing, I think Jerry believes that he could throw out any word salad that he possibly would like to throw out.
That's what the crisis is.
But I don't think Jerry understands that it's 2024 and it's no longer the early 2000s or the 1990s, and fans are a little bit more in tune with what's going on behind the scenes than they were in the 90s and early 2000s.
When fans didn't know shit.
A lot of fans understand how the salary cap works. It's the reason why we're so upset. Because if you understand how the salary cap works, then you do something like what the Green Bay Packers did with Jordan Love, or what the Jacksonville Jaguars did with Trevor Lawrence, or what the Philadelphia Eagles did with A.J. Brown, or what they did with Devontae Smith. And that's pay your guys as soon as possible, and hopefully that contract ages well. And in the case of the Jaguars, yeah, it's a significant risk with Trevor Lawrence, but when you consider the alternative, and that's probably paying him $60 million a year the year after this, it's a good way to save a couple $1 million and be able to allocate that elsewhere in the future. But here's where it gets even funnier. Jerry was completely wrong about this. Dude, the judge overturned the $4.7 billion judgment against the NFL in the Sunday ticket trial. Now, whether or not this was a fair trial is not something I want to get into, too. We made our own video on it a while ago. I'll leave a link to that in the end screen. But the important part here is Jerry was wrong. The salary cap's gonna be just fine. And now all eyes are on the Cowboys to not only extend Dak, but to extend CD. Now, originally, people were expecting Dak to make this much.
The Dak one is harder. Not being able to franchise him, not being able to trade him. I mean, not that they would, but I'm saying like basically just gives Dak all of the leverage. It's honestly just a matter of like how much does he want? If he's a free agent next year, he'll be the biggest free agent we've ever seen. It's like people ask me how much money would Dak make in free agency? How high can you count?
60 million per?
In free agency next year?
Yeah.
Higher, more. Always over.
Hell, even Troy Aikman expects Dak to make $60 million a year.
Damn.
I do believe he's going to be the first quarterback to $60 million. And
From Jerry? From Jerry or somewhere else?
That's the question. And the longer this goes, the more I think he will be playing somewhere else. If it continues to drag on and he plays great, and then the Cowboys come in late to say, hey, now we want to pay you, I don't know where his head will be at that point.
The ever-reliable Dove Kleiman believes
Y'all got no
that
leverage,
Dak Prescott
yo.
can potentially sign a $70 million per year contract.
Oh my God. Telling you, bro. 70 million for Dak Prescott. Oh my God. That is crazy, bro. That's what. Yo, this new NFL deal, the new money that the NFL got coming in out, and the new salary cap increase is ridiculous, bro. This is video game numbers. You're paying a quarterback 70 million? Man, he's not even a quarterback with championships. You know, so like, let's throw rings out the conversation because it's not about success. It's not about accolades at all, bro. Dak has what, 2 playoff wins in his career? You know what I mean? Like, wow.
Which I admit I think that's a little crazy, but this is just Dak Prescott. We didn't even get to the purpose of this video, which my apologies if I'm a little rambly here, guys. Whenever it comes to this team and how much they infuriate me, I know no bounds. So now that the Sunday Ticket lawsuit was overturned, one would think that Jerry Jones would get to work trying to extend CeeDee Lamb as quickly as humanly possible. After all, CeeDee Lamb has been an absolute superstar for the Cowboys over the past 3 seasons. From his second season and on, CeeDee Lamb has always gone over 1,000 yards receiving. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler, and this past year, he led the NFL in receptions with 135. He was a workhorse for the Cowboys. He had 1,749 receiving yards as well, and he finished in top 3 in Offensive Player of the Year voting. And the Cowboys
yards,
had all off-season long to extend him. I mean, if you get this done in March or April, then you're paying CD about $30 or $31 million. But the thing is, the Cowboys didn't try to hit the ground running with extending CeeDee Lamb. And alas, they waited and waited. They waited for Amon-Ra St. Brown to get his $30.02 million contract. Then they waited for A.J. Brown to beat that contract. Then they waited for Justin Jefferson to come out and set the market at $35 million a year. Now, the Cowboys went from having to pay CeeDee Lamb something like $31 million or $32 million a year to needing to pay CeeDee Lamb anywhere from $34 to $36 million a year annually. So this is a no-brainer. You have to extend CeeDee Lamb. So the Cowboys are going to do it, right?
I don't have a sense of urgency about getting it done.
Oh, come the on, Jerry. Come on. What are you doing? Why don't you have urgency to extend CeeDee Lamb? The price is just getting higher, man. You never win. You always end up overpaying your players by doing this. I don't know why he's doing this. I really don't. I mean, can someone give this man a reality check? Dallas Cowboy fans aren't showing up to training camp. Hell, I'm primarily a Kansas City Chiefs fan this year, brother. There's a reason why there's not a Dak Prescott signed jersey behind me, man. And that's because I have no hope behind this regime so long as the Jones family is leading it. It gets even worse, man. Not only did Jerry Jones say the most bizarre thing ever just to potentially get a viral moment on social media, but CeeDee Lamb caught wind of it almost immediately, and I tweeted it out, and it went viral for the wrong reasons on my X account, where I mentioned how CeeDee Lamb has removed America's team from his X bio. I can't blame him either. Jerry Jones is nuts, and he just replaced it with 8s. And to be honest, I can't really blame him at this point. But it gets even worse. CeeDee Lamb would quote tweet this and say LOL, and the worst part of this is Micah Parsons would repost this as well. So at this point, man, I don't really know. I really don't know as a Dallas Cowboy fan. I don't know what analysis to give in regards to this situation. I really don't know what to do at this point. As a Cowboy fan, honestly, I would like us to trade all of these players and just get first round picks, because I have zero faith in us winning anything so long as the Jones family is making these decisions. The way you win Super Bowls is allocating the salary cap efficiently to your best players. It's what the Philadelphia Eagles did with AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. It's what they're consistently doing each and every offseason. It's what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing with making sure Patrick Mahomes is not even a top 10 highest paid QB in the NFL. This is how you win Super Bowls, by making sure you could allocate your salary to as many winning pieces as humanly possible. You can manipulate this by signing your players to extensions as quickly as possible. I mean, Jalen Hurts is already the 8th highest paid QB in the NFL.
That's wild.
Lamar Jackson's the 7th highest paid QB in the NFL, and he was paid last year. I'm typically so excited for football season, man. Really excited to watch my favorite team play each and every single season. But this year, I really just don't have any hope. Their offseason sucked. They continue to make horrible mistakes, and I just don't see a way out of this at the end of the day. Even if we move on from Dak Prescott and move on to Trey Lance, that cap hit is going to crucify us. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this, man. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.
Well, looks like the NFC East division is going to the Philadelphia Eagles, man. Nah, but this is the Dallas Cowboys got even worse. I like I said, bro, you couldn't tell me the difference between Joe Biden and Jerry Jones, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Somehow these guys are still the most powerful people on the planet, or amongst the, and clearly a little long in the tooth for what they're currently doing. Well, to be fair, Biden has stepped down and he's not running, but you get the point I'm trying to make. Jerry's a little long in the tooth. It's overdue, bro. But I'm gonna be here to watch the chaos, like always. I'm gonna holler at you guys next video. I can't wait to watch the Dallas Cowboys chaos, bro. Because I don't know. I don't have the same confidence I had in y'all last year, bro. Y'all worse than last year, at least on paper. And nobody paid yet, so we'll see.